Here we are going to discuss the synthesis of a fourth link mechanism by motion generation or rigid body guidance. In this process, 2 points on the coupler has been assumed, E1 and F1, at 3 different positions, E2, F2 and E3, F3. E2, F2 has been indicated by a slightly bigger dash, E3, F3 has been indicated by a very light dash. Okay, these three are the 3 positions of the 2 points on the coupler. Now, to do its analysis, we have to determine the fixed point. So here I have assumed a fixed point A1 and D1 at an arbitrary distance apart. Here I have assumed a distance of 4 centimeter. Now, to do the analysis of such a mechanism, we have to use the concept of similar triangle. How we are doing it? Here it is determined by taking a triangle E2, F2, D1. From E2 we have determined the distance E2, D1, F2, D1. The same distance has to be translated to E1, F1 such that E1, F1 and D2. Okay, E1, D2 we have drawn one distance. F1, D2 we have drawn another distance, drawn an arc over here to determine the D2. Here E1, F1, D2, E2, F2, D1 are my 2 similar triangles. Similarly, we are doing it for E3, F3, D1. Here we are determining the distance E3, D1, F3, D1. The same distance we are translating it from to E1 and F1. From E1 we are measuring a distance and drawing an arc over here. 2 arcs will be drawn from E1 and F1 to determine the D3. So we have determined a 2 point over here, D2 and D3, joining D1 and D2, D2 and D3 and drawing the normals. Here this is my first normal, this is my second normal. They intersect to give a point C1, which is a 1 point on the coupler. To determine the other point, here we have taken a distance from D1. Now repeating the same process by taking a distance from A1. Okay, here we are taking a triangle E2, F2, A1, measuring the distance E2, A1, F2, A1. That same distance has been translated to E1 and F1. From E1 we are measuring a distance and F1 we are determining the same distance, drawing an arc to determine the A2. This E1, A2 and F1 is similar to E2, F2 and A1. For the third position we are doing the same, E3, F3, A1. E3 and A1 has been measured, F3 and A1 has been measured. That same distance has been translated to E1 and F1 to determine the point A3. So E1, F1, A3, E3, F3, A1 are similar. So here we are getting a 2 points A2, A3, joining A1, A2, A2, A3. We are and drawing their mid normals. This is my first mid normal. This is my second mid normal. They both intersect at a point to determine the B1 point. This is my other point on the coupler. First point we have determined it. Second point we have determined it. Drawing it, we can get the coupler. 2 fixed point we have assumed it. So joining it with the fixed length. So this distance we are only knowing it by measuring this distance D1 C1, C1 B1 and A1 B1 will complete my analysis. Here the distance are mentioned over here. Here one thing is to be noticed that E1 and F1 are the points on the coupler, but here my coupler is coming it to be B1 and C1. Actually B1, C1, E1, F1, C1. This is my very big coupler over here because of choosing an arbitrary point A1 and D1. Also we have assumed an arbitrary position for these 3 positions of the E1 and F1. That's why we are getting a very unreasonably large coupler. But as per this mechanism, B1, C1, E1, F1 is my coupler over here. I have not drawn it because it will distort the figure. Okay, these are the 4 similar triangles we have used for drawing the similar for analyzing the this type of mechanism, and these 2 positions has been assumed. Thank you.